And we are connected. Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of Connecting Humans. Today, we're going to explore about focus on wow and how, on what and how, and oh, that's a big topic. And um, it is time is a series where we are going to explore these things, and we're going to do this all interactive. So please, everybody, we have the comment page. So please leave a lot of comments, ask us questions, some of the questions. And of course, if you agree, you can be interactive live here in the studio, and we're going to take you live on screen so that we can interact also with you. It would be great if the more questions we get, the more challenges we get for the two panelists that we have today, the better it is actually. And I'm going to put them now on the screen and welcome Eric, Alexandre, and Nazli. Nazli, who is the producer of today. So thank you for investing your time again and making this show happen. Hey, Eric, how are you doing, Eric?
Fantastic. Hello.
That's great. Alexandre, ça va?
Ça va super bien. I'm very, very happy to be here with you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, great. Naz.
Yes, welcome. Welcome, everyone.
So Naz is going to take care of the back office and of course everything it's about the comments and everything. So she's going to take care of this. Thank you. You're going to be back at the end of the series, not of the series, sorry, of the episode, not at the series. Oh yeah, no. You're going to be back at the end of the episode also to help us to challenge the question of next week. So see you later.
See you.
Oh, that was a little quick. My mistake. I'm sorry. Yeah, but the challenge is the founder of Connecting Humans, Eric, just challenged me a little to get this episode in 45 minutes. So we have to be focused. So
Big
welcome.
challenge.
A big challenge, yeah, for somebody like me. But for everybody who is there out in the world, we are one of our goals is to reach as many countries as we can. 100 is one of the milestones that we have, and today already a lot of people were on the list to be. So please use the chat, write in some comments. Where are you from? We're really curious about that. So please write something in the chat so that we can see where you're from, maybe the city, and just to say hello to us so that we can reach out to you and connect, as this is nowadays more important than ever to not only stay connected, but to get the feeling of being connected so that it cannot be divided and we have the feeling of being whole. So where are you from? Just write it in the chat and we're going to have a look, and in the comments of it. Would be nice if you're going to interact with us. So we're going to do that in the meantime. We have it already. Michelle from UK, great. Hello, welcome to the Connecting Humans world, where we're going to share some of the conversations, raw and uncensored, and it's going to be live. So that's always a good experience. We have Moscow. We have Moscow, and is it Elisabetta? I think I see that. Hey, James from Barcelona. Hola.
Oh, James, this
Yes.
is Mr. Basha.
Oh, that's nice. So we're already, and we see, from Les Roches in Switzerland. Oh, that's a fan from you, Alexandre.
Yes, that's one of my students actually.
Oh, great. That's good to see. We will look for it in the comments in the further development of the episode. Erika from Tilburg. Yeah, hey, welcome. Then we have Hong Kong. Oh, the Happy Hobbit. Fantastic. It's good to make us laugh. Thank you for that. That's great. So we have the theme for today. Eric and Alexandre, are you ready? I prepared some really tough challenges for you.
I am ready.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they don't know what the questions will be. So this is a little bit how we challenge each other. So I have one question. Eric, the first one is for you.
Okay.
What I hear is very often, focus on your goal. Focus on your goal, focus on your goal, focus on your goal. And one of my teachers, and all the things that I was lucky to learn, one of my teachers told me, if you look at your goal with your two eyes, you have no eye left to look on the street so that you don't fall and stumble. That resonate with you?
Focus on the goal, focus on the goal. Thanks for the challenge, Pascal.
I'm glad you got it.
I would say yes, because it reminds me about one thing, and this brings me back to my times when I was I was training to become an Air Force pilot. So that was my childhood dream. And when I was training, I was part of the Youth Air Force, and we were training shooting and all that stuff, you know? And then my shooting instructor actually told me this: Eric, aim small, miss small. Aim big, you'll miss big. So with what you just said, it makes me connect with that moment, because I was always, from the moment on, I taught myself in a way to think big and vision it big, but start small.
That's a good one, Eric.
I can add something on that. Another example, if you want.
Yes, of course, Alexander.
You know, I'm a biker. I'm a motorbiker. Okay, you have to focus on the street, on the road, actually. But if you focus right in front of the bike, you're gonna have a wreck. You're gonna have an accident. You always have to look far away in order to anticipate as much as possible. And where your mind goes, where your eyes goes, your bike is going. So that's an example that will help for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I have one more example that's super cool when you said that. Dodgeball. You know dodgeball from back in the school times when people were throwing balls at you? So there was this moment where I like to be in the back so I didn't get hit by all the balls. But then at one point, for some reason, I ended up in the front. And I was like, oh, this is so much easier, because now I didn't get hit by all the balls, because I could actually see when they were coming, because here I had a big picture perspective. While in the back, I was blinded by all the other people trying to avoid the balls. So the only thing I focused on was like, oh, there's coming a ball from my right. And I didn't see the other ones coming from the left. Exactly. So that was also
Well, watch out, Eric, focus.
I got so excited about the dodgeball there, so I was like, okay.
It's embodied, right? It's already in the system, in your system.
Yeah.
So when I hear what you say, is it then that it is, of course, always to have a big vision and to envision big, because it is attractive, but you have to not be afraid of starting small?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, to be very specific here, it's not even about being afraid of starting small. It is about starting small with the bigger picture. And I have also made a mistake of I'm starting small without a big picture. So I'm just, you know, this favorite term these days, hustling. So I'm like hustle, getting nowhere because I had nowhere to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Alexandre.
Yes.
My friend from Switzerland. So I have also something where I want to have your view on this, because I'm very interested how you see this. Focus, sometimes when you focus too much on these big goals and on the top, it closes also your view. When you focus the whole time, you blur things out, which also means sometimes that you get deaf for feedback, or you get this stubbornness inside of you. You know, do you have does it resonate with you? And do you have any tips or just some clues for us?
Well, it resonates a lot. I mean, if you always focus on one thing, you will lose what might be important, and to make your life easier as well. An example I have typical from that, when I was in the hotel school in Lausanne, in the after party, I was responsible for the cleaning of the school. And I was so focused on it that I didn't take care of the operation. I didn't take care of my friend, not even of myself. And I was so concentrated on what needs to be done that I was totally blinded for taking care of the others as well. So we have to be careful. Focus is one thing, but we should, time to time, stop, see where we are. Are we going always in the good direction? Is that direction what we want to go still? Or we have to add up something on the side? So focus, yes, but don't hesitate, and don't hesitate to stop time to time to see what you have done and to see what is forward. And as well, when you do that, you have time to look left, look right. Another example and another tip is a 5-second tip. when busy in a restaurant, in service, when someone is focused on he has to do and he's overwhelmed by everything. The 5-second stop is just to step back, count in your mind 5 seconds, and you will be able to see what is your priority, and then focus again on an excellent survey that you can give. So there are plenty of tips like that. That is quite interesting.
Great, thanks for 5-second tip. I just noted it down. Sometimes I have also to use that 5-second tip. I remember somebody told me that, or I read it in the book. Actually, I think when you start in Los Angeles and you want to fly to New York and you're only, I think, 1 degree or something in the wrong direction, and then you will not reach New York, you will reach Washington, D.C., which is like 300 miles more in another direction. So if you're not stopping, or not, of course, a plane cannot stop, but if you're not checking from time to time that you're on the right track, then it gets hard. So so take the time. Is that more or less what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, Erik, do you have a tip about this, to not get too focused, because you can also overdo it?
Well, I would actually I would love to focus on actually increasing focus a little, because I feel that might be lacking. But in terms of a very practical tip, something that I have is every Friday, so today, and especially after today's live session, I step back and I reflect on the week. I reflect on, like, okay, what were the achievements? What are the successes and achievements during this week? What were the setbacks or disappointments? And what were the disasters or complete, like, say failures, right? So 3 categories. I'm just looking at it, thinking about my week, because I learned that I kept on moving, especially being in this entrepreneurial world, if you say. I just kept on moving without checking back, wait, am I on track? And then I learned that technique, I don't know when, and every Friday I'm having this OneNote and just going, okay, wait, and it gives me a lot of appreciation when I'm realizing that, oh, that happened, I achieved that. But it also gives me these golden learning lessons.
So to summarize it, is it also to take a moment to learn to celebrate?
100%.
Of course, by all means. By all means.
It's really difficult to keep focused if we don't also enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely. I see that we have a question. Mette from Denmark is there. Mette, I will take you live into the studio. Just give me a second how I can get you live into the studio. Just look at it. And there we have her. Mette, welcome.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you. Lovely to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. So you have a question.
Yeah, it's interesting because, a lot of companies, and especially in this time with Corona, those companies that only have goals and maybe not a very clear, vision, they have been really experienced a setback. But companies where they have, a vision, they know where to go. It can be that now they need a little bit more time, but they still need where they want to go, and they can even, reconstruct their production and then use it for something else meaningful for the time being. So goals, I think that we should go, maybe try to spend more time coming up with a direction. And the goals, we will always have goals, but the direction, much more important. Also in war, I know that we're not in a war now, but as a soldier, when this person goes out, maybe there will be a bomb. And if this person doesn't know how to get back home or do something else, then nothing, he will die. Yeah. So if we only have goals to focus on, And that is also another thing I would like to touch upon, is that, for instance, when you get laid off and then you go out and then you look for a new title. If you only look for a new title and you are plus 50, life can be tough. But if there's something out there you want to challenge or you want to change because you know that more of the same will still not generate what you really want or what the industry really want, then you narrow down really your what you can do.
Absolutely.
So direction, if you have a vision, if you see something you want to change, that be your focus. And then you will learn a lot, because, you know, like you said, Eric, you said something about, okay, what did I do wrong, or what was kind of disasters? But actually, maybe you didn't do anything wrong. You just created an opportunity to learn something. So what did you learn that will serve your purpose? You know, the direction, where you are heading.
Thanks, Mette. We need a question. Can you rephrase this into a question to challenge the two guys?
God. Yeah. How can we be better in coming up with a vision and then let go of all those goals, KPIs? Not interesting in the new world. I don't think so.
That's a tough one. And let's see, do you have a preferred person you want to ask that question to? I think Eric is a...
Yeah.
Eric is nodding.
No. I was just I was feeling the question, like, Mette, your points. I was just nodding. That's all.
But it's a very good one. So, and that's a challenge we all see also in the organizational world, of course. But Eric, what's your view on this?
My view here is something in line with, you know, in our brain, we have a system called the RAS, the reticular activation system. That system will at all times put our attention to what we say and what we want to do. So if we're saying that we don't want something, that's exactly what we will see. If we're saying that we want to see something, that's what we will see. And I feel that in terms of this question on how can we let go of, say, all these goals and KPIs, which in one way are there to keep us on track, to keep control and keep plans and everything in line, is to allow ourselves to step back and experiment, to visualize something that's a little scarier than we can control, and trust that if we can trust our imagination, our visualization, our vision of something greater out there, we will find the right path depending on the situation we're in right now. And the situation today is very different from the one 6 months ago and 1 year ago. So if we're sitting with the plans, the goals and KPIs that we used to apply, it will not matter anymore.
Great. So, Mette, can you relate with that? Is Eric dismissed? Is it okay?
Yeah. A good answer. And this kind of change of mindset, and also how we see companies, industries doing business, it will take time. But I actually think that with Corona, it will help us a little ahead. I think that we already saw something before Corona in some of the more progressive companies, maybe the startup companies actually. But I think that with Corona, that will enhance, you know, that we need to change a little faster in our mindset.
Yeah, great. Thanks for this, Mette. Thanks and greetings to Denmark.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye, Mette. So that was a really good one and a challenge, because it's a huge theme about this. It is really a hard one. Alexander,
I could ask something on that.
Yes, please.
it seems that when we say focus, we go directly to the action. Okay, I mean, when you want to focus on something, first you need to know what you have at your disposal. What are the tools you have? And before that is, okay, what do I want to reach? What do I want to obtain in and going toward the direction I want to go? And when this is clear and you can foresee the difficulties you may have, then you can go into the action. The focus comes from what do I want to obtain and what do I have in order to reach that. So at a certain point, the goal itself is less important than what you want to reach, not only for you, but for the whole community you belong to or the team you are with.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the thing, because when you have this fog before you, also what is right now happening, it's uncertainty where what we see when you have that, because yeah, it's news. Corona is a big teacher, of course, also a painful one for a lot of people. And in the brain is always the yes but that comes up then when you have that. But we have some comments, at least I see in the chat. Let's look for this, and let's look if they inspire you to go on with this. From Danielle. In times like this, for me, it's important to be sensitive about my social relations, my health, emotions, and work. I like to see it as 4 rooms in a house that I have to walk through every day. Thanks, Daniela, for this. Well, it is, of course, also important to learn how to focus on yourself, to focus on your own well-being. It's of course difficult. That's also what she says in her next comments. But do you have a tip for this, Erik?
I would love to bring in here, because Alexander just pointed out too, and I think it goes in well connection with what Danielle said. Focus. I was researching it a little bit before today's session, and the greatest definition I concluded out of this research is, focus is a state of mind by having or producing a crystal clear perception or visualization of a matter. Whatever that matter is, you choose, right? But that was the definition of focus. And therefore, as Danielle was talking about here, it's a state of mind, right? And if that's a state of mind without taking care of our own relationships, the connections that we have to ourselves and others, our emotions, our energy, the food, our mind, our body, what is going to be the quality of that state of mind, and therefore the crystallization of your vision or your perception?
Yeah, very, very, very nice. We have a question in the comments. I will bring it on the screen, and let's see what Alexandre is going to say about it. What would you say to all those people who are juggling many things and struggling to focus on their job? Thanks for this very, very, very practical question. Alexandre, good luck.
There is a myth. There is a myth that some people give that to women, that they can be multitasking. And multitasking is not something that the human being can do. You always need a time to focus on one thing, defocus and refocus on something else. And the more you do that, the less attention, the less energy you can place on what you focus. So you should give yourself a definite time to work on one thing, and then you stop, and then you give a definite time to work on another thing, then you stop. Trying to work several things at the same time, you would be less productive and frustrated, and frustrate your team, frustrate the people you're working for. So I understand that juggling is important, but you need to yourself control the juggling, control the wheel, rather than the wheel controlling you. And that's something that we have to understand. The mind works in a certain way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think we all have already made that experience. So I have also something from Markus Scholl. Fred, schön, dass du da bist. Good that you're here. He has a very practical question. So if a company, and I put it on the screen, so if a company you work for has no idea about the future, so no vision, what you talked about, how can you influence the CEO as a co-worker? That's a tough one. How can you do that, Erik?
Well, I would say, honestly, this is the point where I go in. I don't think it's so difficult at all, because this is the point when you as a person, you show them the vision. They don't have to have all the answers and the vision and all this stuff. But since you have already noticed it, right? Show them, okay, I will come in here. I'm coming from corporate. I know that you can't really walk into your manager's or CEO's office and go like, hey, I'm going to show you my vision. It's not always going to be that welcome, right? So act it. Present it in a way that it's not meant as you walk in and telling them what to do or how to do things. Show them by doing. Talk about it. Express it. Find the ways already yourself so that you as a coworker are being noticed by your CEO. And in corporate politics, yes, maybe you have to play that little game of placing one seed in one manager's head so that that manager then shows it to that one. But that's a whole different question. For you as a person, I believe strongly in that if you feel that this company have no vision, what is then your vision? And act out.
Alexander?
If I can add on that, you should not be afraid if you think that the boat is going nowhere and the captain of the boat doesn't give direction. You should be able to speak freely. And there is always something I said to my bosses when I want to say something sensitive is, sir, permission to speak freely. So here you undermine that what I'm going to say is going to be sensitive. Would you like to hear it? And no one would say no. And they expect you to be sincere in what you're going to say. Now, the answer you're going to get from that, different, but at least you're going to bring an awareness in your boss or in your CEO that there is something I forgot or I need to be doing in order for my team to be going in a correct direction.
Yeah, it's a very tangible tip, actually. And I'm looking on the questions. I have a question here prepared because it's a nice challenge. And Alexander, I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Okay. So some people have a good focus. Yeah, they know exactly where they want to go. And now imagine they're sitting in a rowing boat and they row and they row and they row and they know exactly where they go, but actually they go in the other direction. So they're rowing their asses off and they focus on the right thing. At least they made the decision to that. They're rowing, but they go into the different direction. Do you have a tangible tip how to do that? How to prevent this?
Of course. It is when you see the effort is given, I mean, the rowing, to give you the example, is to ask the team or the people that made those decisions, in doing that efforts, where would you like to go? And when they explain to you, would like to go there. So is to question them all the time, question their decision. That the basic coaching technique is to question them. I mean, what makes you say or what makes you sure that rowing with that strength and with that power, with that energy, is going to bring you where you want to go? So is to really question their action at a certain point. And they realize at a certain point that, oh, yes, you're right, maybe there is an easier way to do so.
Yeah, one of the things what also is helping in that moment is to focus on the positive things that can go right instead of focusing on the things that can go wrong, because then they will go wrong. Where attention goes, energy flows. We heard that. I think everybody heard that multiple times. And I have a comment from Marcus on the tip that you gave. So I would just put it on the screen. A manager will always react with suspicion or competitive jealousy if you try to give them an idea which the board secretly is positive about. So when I see that comment, of course, we take the always out, because I know also a lot of managers that will not react with suspicion. So but there are, of course, some people that react on this with resistance. Do you have a tip for this, Eric?
Again, your brain, your reticular activation system, if you are looking at it and looking at things as, first I would say this, always and never are two words you should always remember to never use. That's just the first thing. Second, I don't want to be sounding criticizing here. I really try to be, I'm coming from a caring point of view. If this is your perception of what managers react like, perhaps there is a perception in you rather than in the managers that is stopping this from happening. So in a kind way of saying, perhaps take a step back into the drawing board and ask yourself as in, what would you like to do now? Without thinking about what that manager or what that person is. It's a human being standing in front of you. And then to the second part is think of, well, we don't have to give them this idea as in I know and you don't, but it's this thing of, hey, how can we share an experience or a story, or how can we share this in a way so that the other person feels part of this decision or this idea? And a practical tip to do that is often to ask a question instead of telling them the answer.
Alexander, as a specialist also in psychology, do you agree?
I agree big time with Eric. I would like to add something as well. I mean, if you have something sensitive to say to someone, two things I'd like to say. First of all, ask yourself, in his position or her position, how would you like someone in my position telling me that? And if you find the words, you won't be wrong. Another thing, that if you fear that your manager is going to be reacting negatively about it, here I think there is within the company a problem of trust. Mm-hmm. Because if you trust your team, if you trust the company you're working for, and you trust your bosses, you should be able to voice what you have to voice without expecting any retaliation.
So when I summarize a little bit, and correct me if I'm wrong, as focus has also to do something with perception, and perception is very individual, because focus, you also have to focus the camera to put the focus right on. So it is perception, and perception is always depending also on the frame that we have. So to question yourself and to rephrase things in a question, also towards my dialogue partner, let's say it like this, is that then the key frame. So to question yourself first, am I open enough? And of course also to question your partner. Is that then the thing that can help to refocus together on the right, to align on the focus? Is that the right thing, Eric?
Yeah, I think the key word you use there is being open and curious towards yourself. A lot starts with yourself, and being curious also, even knowing that you know the answers, being curious of how can you share that with others without teaching or training, or how can you share that? And that comes from your own curiosity of yourself, on your own ability to convey that message.
Yeah, great. So we're almost at the end, dear friends. To keep it short and powerful, I have a last, and that gives you some time to think about the number one tip that you want to give the audience when it comes to focusing in times of this uncertainty that we have. I have a nice comment that I want to share with you guys, and it is from James. Thank you, James. Before influencing our managers, we first need to be connecting with them and increasing our influence. We cannot influence or get somebody to listen to unless we connect first, which is a great, of course, final word here when we talk about connecting humans. So thank you for this. But can you summarize a little bit your story of today with maybe one tip? Eric, you go first.
Okay. Then I would direct it to everybody who's watching it now live or in the recording. And look around the room or wherever you are right now. Just look around, just looking around. And then I will tell you the following. Find anything in the room right now that is yellow. Just giving yourself 30 seconds, looking around. Find everything yellow, like count it really. Just like, oh, there's yellow. No, count it. How many yellow things do you find? And if you're already finding it and finding answers, write the answers right now in the comment part as well. Just write the answers there. Maybe you found 5 things that's yellow. Now, my question to you is, how many things did you find, first of all, that were yellow? Say maybe there were 5. My second question is, how many things did you find that weren't really yellow, but you kind of made a decision that they were yellow? It was like, that's yellow enough for me right now. And my third question is, how many things around you did you find right now during those 30 seconds that were blue? And not until I'm saying it, you're going to start like, oh yeah, there is blue there. There's something blue there. But this is just a simple practice to show you the power of, if you are focusing on what you set your intention to focus on, is what your RAS will give you. As in, you will get that. That's what focus will give you. Your RAS and your mind, however, do not understand words per se. It rather thinks in pictures, and it starts thinking in emotions. It becomes pictures. So if I say the following to all of you, don't fall off the bike, what do you visualize yourself doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Probably falling off the bike. So I'm going to leave that with everybody right now to say, my tip from everybody is to, after this call, list down what is it you want to focus on, not what you don't want to focus on.
Absolutely.
And then just that way.
Yeah, before Alexander, it's your turn. I remember one of my soccer coaches when I was still playing soccer. He said, I analyze, when they motivate the team before we go out, and they say, I analyze the team and they only have one trick when they do a corner, and it's this and this, and watch out, that's how they go do a goal. Exactly, this happened all the time when we got the goal, because everybody was focusing, it's a corner and this will happen now. It happened. And it's exactly what you're saying. You see that all the time, and in your daily life, you can see it everywhere when you put your attention to it. Alexander, for today, your summary, your tips, and your.
You took my word again, Eric. Focus on the positive. The mind, the subconscious, doesn't work with negative wording. Don't think of a black cat. The first thing that comes in your mind is a black cat. Okay, so really focus on, as you said, what you want to obtain. Now, during what you do, you have to know that focusing is an apprenticeship. You have to learn how to focus. And today, with all the distraction we have, is complicated. So don't be too tough with yourself. Understand your own moment of focus. How long can you focus on something? And from here, you can increase 1 minute, 30 seconds every day. Take breaks in moments between focusing. And during those breaks, don't do anything. Just, and then focus again. And that's a way to understand how your focus works. Have little breaks in between those times.
Yeah. It's like a muscle is working. When you train your muscle, it needs also the rest to grow. You need the rest so that the muscles can grow. So you need these ups and downs. It's absolutely right, Alexander. Thanks, beautiful.
And to just add one thing to what Alexander said, I think it's so powerful. And if I can give it in 3 bits to people now, if you write down the 3 following words, no, or not, stop, and don't. If you write these 3 words, not, stop, and don't, that is not what you will ever be able to get, because your brain cannot visualize what not, stop, and don't mean. But it will start visualize everything that will come out of it. So that's my little add-on to what Alexander said there about negative wording. So powerful.
Great. Thanks, Eric. So we're done actually for today. So thank you for your time that you invested again, your time and energy. You still want to add something, Alexander? Of course you can.
Naz got some tips as well.
Yeah, but Naz will come up. Of course, he will come up now. First of all, gentlemen, chapeau for again sharing these insights from all your experience from all over the world. It's always nice and nourishing and inspiring for us to hear that. And I will bring, of course, our producer back on the screen. Hey, Naz, thanks for
hello
taking
everyone.
care of everything. Great.
Yes.
What is your number one tip? What is your number one tip?
my number one tip that I mentioned in LinkedIn as well, stop multitasking. It kind of supports, what Eric and Alexander, like mentioned. Stop multitasking. Multitasking, like absolutely kills focus. Our brain cannot effectively focus more than one thing. So, and adding, what Eric said, just follow the one thing that you want to focus and just put it at the top of your list, and then you will be able to prioritize. And that being said, for our next session, we are going to be talking about how can we eliminate, control, and manage our emotional triggers, which is going to be very helping us to focus on our things as well. So it's going to be very connecting.
Great. How to get rid of the illusion of control. What a big topic. I am curious about what you're going to have to share. And of course, to everybody outside of our live stream, if you like what you heard today, tag somebody who can profit from these insights. Tag somebody who can be next time with us, that can be part of this session with that question. Don't forget to share also that we're all connecting. We're connecting humans. So the more people are connecting here, you can go live on the live stream. It would be great if you're coming back next week. And so far, thank you, lady. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure again, and we're going to have a nice week, and we're going to see you next week.
Thank you. Bye everyone.
Bye.